make sure that when you're establishing your business, you don't do sole props. I can't tell you how many times banks don't like that. Well, banks do, excuse me. I don't like it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Sole props is an extension of you personally, of your social. You're used to signing under your, under your social, so why would the bank say, well, let's put it in the business? It's not. The second thing is to also do is you want to make sure that you have a clear, concise idea of what you're going to do with that money. Stop playing out here, because if you get $100,000 and that payment starts in 30 days, you mess with one payment, you are going to have to get into about 2 to 3 years into your business with great payment history before you can do anything.
Wow.
And then the third thing, have a business plan. I think a business plan, a lot of times, is one of the biggest hindrance of obtaining the funding. Credit is one, business credit is another. But if you have all those in place and the bank doesn't know what you're going to use the money for, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
A business plan is your resume. If you're trying to buy a gas station right now in the corner, they say that gas station is $1 million. They're going to ask you, what experience do you have running a gas station? Or what experience do you have acquiring any business?
Okay.
Your business plan is your resume. And when you break down your resume and scream loud to the lender, I know how to do this. I know how to catapult this business. Chances of you obtaining funding increases drastically by 90%.
Welcome back for another amazing episode of Finding Your Niche with Neish. I am your host, Neish, and I get to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about, money, right? Getting money, right? Making money. And what better person to do that with than the person that actually can get you the money, other people's money, which is like the best thing ever. So joining me today to talk about how he found his niche in business funding is Hiram Algarin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no, so I'm super excited to talk to you. I love what you do. I love the messaging, and I love the narrative behind, helping people get business funding. So you have this amazing company called Ladder Financial Group. Talk to me a little bit about the inception of that and what it's meant to you so far.
Oh, the inception is a good story, right? Because before I started that company, I was looking for a way to find the alternative to the normal banking, right? We've all been through the big banks, corporate banking structure. If they don't get approved, then whatever. So I found myself in a position in corporate world where, okay, where is that alternative, creative way to get people funded in a creative and fun way? And, we started the business in April 11th, 2019. 2020, COVID hit, and we just blew up. It was like we were Amazon, like we were selling toilet paper. Like all of a sudden we just our product could not stay on the shelves.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the beginning stages of our company.
Yeah. What do you think it was? You said when you blew up, like what was it about your company in particular that you think was so well receptive during that time?
I think one of the biggest things and the most important thing is that when you have people looking for money and the government got involved and say, okay, well, there's PPP loans or EIDL loans. A lot of people did not qualify for that. So you as an alternative funder, as an alternative lender and broker, you had to find little ways to put deals together. Your banker is never going to sit with you and say, okay, this is the breakdown. Here's a roadmap. Here's an X. Here's a shovel. This is where you dig. We did that.
Yeah.
And opening people's eyes to like, okay, I can now borrow money at even a cheaper rate at 0%, or even borrow money at 1.9%. It was very eye-opening, and that's where we really honed in and grew from there.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about okay, so you start this company. Did you have any idea that it would kind of pop the way that it did when you first started it?
No. Nobody knows what they're doing, right? When you go to explore a continent on a boat, right, in the 1600s, you don't have. You don't know where you're going to end up, right? You just kind of throw there. You just kind of grind constantly, right? You wake up early. You go to sleep late. Your employees are still, working with you hand in hand. and you just wish for the best, right? I think it's very important that you always keep the consistency, customer service, and making sure that you're always transparent in everything that you do.
Yeah.
And with those two simple points, a lot of people were able to connect with us and helped us grow this company to what it is today.
Yeah. I think what you guys do is like super beneficial and super helpful. What was it about, I want to start a business funding company? Like, what was it about that you decided to kind of jump into that specific industry?
Business funding, every business in the United States needs funding. Either you're beginning startup, or either you are a medium-sized business, either you own a hospital or many hospitals. In order for you to continue to grow and scale a business, in order for you to get more people on payroll, in order for you the expenses of a company, you need funding. You can't always put your money that you have from your savings account, drop it into operating account, and then disperse that money, and then just hope that you have a return on investment tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is when you are able to teach people that, hey, you need capital. You always need capital. But using your capital is the biggest problem that I always tell people you're going to have.
Yeah.
Because let's just say that tomorrow something happens to that business. Now you have your own blood, sweat, and tears and your family money tied into a business. How do we feed our family? So being able to get in, hone in, and use other people's money, that's the way that we started this. Every business needs capital. And
I'm very interested that you're saying that, because something that I don't think a lot of people think about, let's just give an example, that you're saying every business needs capital, every business needs business funding. Amazon, is Jeff Bezos out there getting business funding?
No, Jeff Bezos' name is nothing. He doesn't sign his name on anything. He uses other people's money to create opportunities.
Even though his business is already successful, he's still, that company, that entity is still seeking business funding?
That is correct. That is correct. Venture capitalists. You have people that loan money, private money, right? When you're loaning private money, you know that these people cannot go and borrow $52 billion to buy a social media company. You gather with 4 of the most important people in your Rolodex, like I say. I'm still kind of old school like that. You go into your Rolodex and you find the people that have the money. You now do the elevator pitch and see if they bite.
Yeah.
But every business needs money, right? And it's one of the things that I think in our communities, right, in our Black and brown community, and I can attest to that. I came from a business, a family that owned business, right, catering. My dad used to walk around with wads of cash and rubber band. And he was like, if I run out, then we'll talk about banks. But right now, I'm not running out. And it was like, the borrowing money and OPM was just like a cuss word.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times
it was frowned upon.
It's definitely frowned upon in our communities, right? It's like I don't need their money, because they know how that money costs.
Yeah.
There's a cost to money.
Yeah.
But when there's a cost to money, but you don't know where to invest the money to get a return on investment, then it becomes a scary moment.
Yeah. And I think fear is like one of those words that I think we underestimate fear.
Right.
And it's occupancy.
That's
in
right.
Our mental real estate. Like, I think we undermine how big of a role it plays in our life, in our day-to-day, and all of our decisions.
That's right.
Especially money. Money's a big thing where fear dominates.
Right.
And so can you talk to me a little bit about that? Like, why do you think why is there this cognition of like what you're talking about, of not wanting to have this opportunity to use other people's money in correlation with the fear of maybe even just gaining more and having abundance? What is that?
I think there's 2 things to that, right? I think it's from generations ago. Generations ago, you had to really struggle to make ends meet. A lot of families had to be able to, put together our money to buy something, buy a car. A lot of financing wasn't available. We were talking 30s and 40s and 50s. Cars still cost $3,000, $4,000. And people used to put their money together and said, okay, I'm not even going to worry about a bank. But at the same time, I think that now that you move, fast forward years later, I think the biggest problem is no business plan. There's no plan for the money.
Yeah.
Example, if I say, hey, listen, I can get you a $100,000 credit card right now. People are like, ooh, why a credit card? And I'm telling them, I'm giving the secret sauce. I'm going to give you 0%. I'm going to give you 12 months to pay on that, using other people's money, using a credit card. I'll even teach you how to liquidate that money and turn it into cash. And they still question, well, it's a credit card. Well, then what you're telling me is that you don't feel that you can be responsible enough to respond when a time of need that you need that money to be invested into this business so that you can get a return on investment and now grow this business into an empire. There is no business plan. Show me your business plan. If I give you $100,000 today, show me what step by step what's going to happen and what's going to occur at what moment, at what time in order for you to make this money back.
Wow.
We can go into trucking. We talk about trucking all day.
Wow.
Get a $60,000 Cascadia. Okay, you got a CDL? No, but I know I can get a truck on the road and make money.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, have you learned this from anybody? That's why I think it's so important as well. Even borrowing money, you need a mentor. A lot of people don't know that. Even when you borrow money from a bank, you still need a mentor to be able to guide you on where to go with that money. Because the mentor has done the mistakes repetitively back to back and now knows what to do and how to fix it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a plan for that money, don't borrow it. Hold tight, stay in that 9-to-5 grind, and then we can worry about that when you're ready and you can now plan for that money because you need to invest that money quick to make that money back.
I think that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's key. It's like mentorship and just knowing what to do, right? I think that's the biggest part of it is ignorance.
Right.
When you get the money, you want the money, but then it's just like, okay, now I'm panicking what to do, how to not use it for other things.
That's right.
And put it towards your business to flip it. When you think about somebody who is ready for the money, what does that person look like to the banks?
When somebody's ready for money, obviously they have all their articles, business plan, EIN, business location or virtual address. They have everything outlined to the banks and showing them I'm ready to conduct business.
Okay.
They're not operating out of a cell phone. When they call their company line or their 800 number, there's it pads you through to extension 1s and 2. There's that feel, right?
Yeah.
Let's think about that. I still deal with people sometimes when I'm trying to get money and I'm saying, hey, the bank is about to give you a call to interview you. They're going to send you a link to their appointment. What email can we use? My first dot, last name at Gmail. And we're saying, come on. When was the last time your banker sent you information about their banking and lending vehicles from their personal email? Right, so a lot of times we have to stand tall and have all your documents and all your ducks in a row to be able to present a proper banking mapping destination.
Yeah.
And what that means is that when you go through banking mapping, that means they collect all the details and information that goes into an application. They categorize that. You score internally much higher. And then your chances of getting an approval and securing that bag is much heavier because you have all your ducks in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now when the interview call comes in and they're calling that 1-800 number, you ask ABC Services, how can we help?
Yes, exactly.
A properly structured business is ready to conduct business and now ready to receive money and now ready to return on investment.
No, that's really good. I think that's key because, and it's like little things.
Simple.
Like you just saying, having a proper email address, having a business number. I think what people do is, and I want you to kind of speak to that, is they get a business, maybe they're new to entrepreneurship, and they still have a lot of intertwining of personal with business. How do you kind of explain to people how to actually draw the line with, business funding, personal funding, and credit, so to speak?
Yeah. So we can go about that for hours, right? And that might be a part 2 of this. But, the most important thing is what I like to call divorce yourself financially. You have to divorce yourself financially from your business.
Okay.
Your business is the greatest thing that can happen to you, but when you create, it's just like a child. You gave birth to a child, 18, 20 years old, boom, you're on your own, buddy. I'm going to divorce myself from you financially because I'm no longer responsible for you. You're now an adult and you can operate things on your own. A business is the same way, but you got to do it from day one. A lot of times what we start doing is we start applying for loans, applying for lines of credit, term loans, and credit cards on the business. Why? Because the banks are telling you to do that. Banks operate on risk mitigation. They want to mitigate the risk, relieve themselves from it. So now instead of having it only under business EIN, they now have you tagged under it. Because if they now have to ask for their money back, they only have an EIN that they have to ask money back.
Yeah.
You close the doors, there's nobody to respond. So the most important thing is that when we come out, okay, some banks will require it PG. Okay, I need to get a car, whatever the case is. I get it. But the sooner we can divorce ourselves financially and split the banking, you cannot treat your business banking the same way you treat your personal banking.
Give me a practical example of like a step somebody should take differentiate that, like what you would normally do with your personal that you wouldn't do with your business? Give me like an example.
Perfect. So one of the things that you don't do is you don't order Uber Eats every day from your business account. Big no. First of all, your accountant is going to call you out.
Yeah.
They're going to say, listen, are you expensing this money every day at the office, or is it just you? Second thing, you don't go grocery shopping through your business account. That's for your personal.
Okay.
Business transactions stay in business during business transaction banking. Personal banking stays in personal. Mm-hmm. Now, let me give you a secret gem right here, right? A lot of people are still paying for their cell phones under their personal name. Well, go to AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and do what they call transfer liability. When you move that business over to a business, not only do you reap the benefits of the expense of that cell phone, but at the same time, they give you 12 months of consecutive invoices. So now you can send that over to your accountant. Mm-hmm. Additionally, in addition to that, if you have car payments under you personally, but you're using this vehicle, hello, Mr. Real Estate, we need to now do a transfer liability and now do a corporate resolution and turn that vehicle, instead of making payments on that vehicle under the personal name, you now purchase another vehicle or do a trade-in or get that vehicle into a company EIN-only business loan. Every monthly payment that goes in interest.
Even if you buy your car just regular for personal and then you start a business?
Refi.
Okay.
But the easiest way is going to be trade that thing in, because now if you get a vehicle over 6,000 pounds, you can take advantage of the 179 rule.
What's that?
That's where you can deduct certain payments and the taxes off of that vehicle because it's over 6,000 pounds. And the IRS gives you that write-off.
Oh, wait, time out. Sorry. Okay, you had to run that back for me for a second.
That's right.
Hiram. Okay, so talk to me about this pounds thing, because this is like revolutionary information to me. So kind of break that down, what you're talking about, so people can capitalize off of this new gem.
Absolutely. So the IRS allows you to write off vehicles, but they have to be a certain vehicle category weight.
Okay.
So a lot of times, construction workers reap that benefit, because if you get a heavy pickup, heavy vans and all that good stuff, they're usually typically a GVW over 6,000 pounds.
Okay.
Now, if you use this vehicle for the company, it's what they call the 179 rule. The IRS allows you, as long as it's 6,000 pounds or more, allows you to write off taxes off of that vehicle during a series of years.
Okay. So
when you now making $1 million a year, and you're purchasing, that's where you see a lot of people purchase, the Ferraris, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 vehicles, because they can now take advantage of that 179 rule. Okay. It's not because we want to be flashy, let's be real. It's because we want to reap the benefits and the loopholes of the tax code.
Yeah.
So when a lot of times I'll tell somebody, okay, so you have a vehicle right now that you're making payments on, and you're spending $1,000 a month. All right. Can you trade that vehicle in? You say you have a little bit of equity, you have a little $5,000 down right here. Why don't you go get yourself a range? Why don't you now go take advantage of that loophole? Now, why don't you have all those car payments and everything that you're putting towards that car, either the maintenance or the fuel, whichever way the IRS, your accountant tells you to break it down, and you take advantage of that. Now, at the end of the year, when you have all this money that you've made, you can offset that.
Okay.
Goes with car, goes with a phone bill, goes with a lot of the expenses that you're doing. You're traveling. Hey, I was in Jamaica the other day with the family, hanging out.
Yeah.
Guess what? I opened up the laptop, started talking to a gentleman that was right there, that was needing a business loan. We submitted.
Yeah.
Using artificial intelligence, by the way, $60,000 offer. I said, I'll have my rep call you within an hour to finish up the deal.
Yeah.
That's a business expense.
Wow.
I went there to just have time with the family.
Yeah.
But I found an opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I'm going to write that off as a business expense, because I spent money in there making and trying to conduct business. So these are some of the little things that we learn through business. Business is a new language.
Yeah.
This is like, Google Gaga stuff in the beginning for us, right? But the more that we start to learn, we start getting in these rooms, we start networking with these people, we start learning that transferring liabilities and the assets is the greatest thing. But when we have everything all up on us, all the expenses of the business, we're moving things using my personal money and using it as best as I can.
Yeah.
To also feed my family, that doesn't work.
I want to ask you, because you've had a lot of stories, you have a lot of testimonies of getting people different money, different amounts of business funding. When people actually get the money, what would you recommend as the first strategy that they use to kind of double or multiply the money that they just got?
I gotta say, in the beginning, I always say, I would sit down with them and just give them a little bit of advice, right? But when you're doing thousands of applications on a monthly basis, it's kind of hard to do that. Mm-hmm. But I think the most important thing in whatever niche you're in, you have to find somebody to give you guidance. There's a lot of mentors that are out there that are solid. Now, there's a lot of ones that are just still wet behind the ears. 3 months, they learned it, they think they're doing their thing. So you got to have business discernment.
Okay. Ooh.
All right, because I think that's very important. Anybody can actually give me 5, 10 grand. I'm gonna show you the world. But so does infomercials at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the knife set sounds good because I don't have one, right? But at the same time, you have to realize that mentorship is the most important thing. You hone in where's your love, where's your peace? What do you love to do? And where do you find peace in doing what you love to do?
Yeah.
And when you find that right person that can teach you and guide you through that whole roadmap, because they've done the mistakes, they've fallen.
Yeah.
Big companies like Ford, big companies like Chevy, big companies like, auto manufacturers have fallen and failed in so many different ways.
Yep.
But they just continue to produce cars. Okay, we're not gonna produce cars because we failed and we got to bail out. We continue to do things. But I think the most important thing is finding yourself somebody that can, mentor you and guide you on what you are specifically going to do. So now you invest that money wisely.
Yeah. Who was that person for you? Because all of this information, you're just spewing it out. Like it's like off the back of your hand. You don't even have to really think about it because you know it so well. Would you say that you would contribute a lot of your knowledge and understanding of this particular industry to?
I think not so much in my industry, because I think my background. I mean, I've done finance for 21 years now.
Yeah.
Right. I think that the automotive industry was just so. Nobody leaves. You got to be a pit bull and grab them by the neck, and can't let go of that customer. They got to buy, buy, right?
Yeah.
So I think I encountered a lot of good guys in that business. They were rough around the edges. I'm originally from New York, so they were. There's a lot of F-bombs and all kinds of things flowing through.
Yeah.
It was a little old school way of training, right? But a lot of times when I was able to get into the higher end, the higher end, the $400,000, $500,000 type of cars. I had some good mentors there.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, a lot of times when I want old school mentorship with no BS, my dad.
Really?
My dad. I mean, he owned catering companies and he knew how to invest, when to invest. He knew how to position yourself for success. Because food is something that if your calculations are off, you just lost thousands of dollars on a wedding, right? Or you lost this, right? And in addition to that, he's also very very high octane, high energy.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of things he says, it doesn't matter. Your employees are going to be the first ones to go to sleep at night. You'll be the last. You'll be the first one to wake up, and they'll be the last. But he says you will always continue to put food on the table, and you're going to learn a lot from them. And that's that nurture, right? That's that thing that you let people in. You allow people to do what they need to do to be successful for you. So I don't think a lot of it really has to do with that, per se that, I went out there and spent money on mentors. I just sat with people that were mature.
Yeah, real people.
They were 70-year-old deacon.
Yeah.
You sit down with him and, he'll give you the whole world and how to walk right.
Yeah.
Right? You got these people here that are 80 years old and they've been through the Great Depression and they tell you how to save every penny that you need and where to put your money in.
Yeah.
Right? And how they're successful now after their 60s.
Game.
I always tell everybody, you want another shot. You need a booster shot.
Yeah.
Go to those retirement homes where people are about to die. And ask them about their regret.
Wow.
Ask them about their regret. Why? Because now all of a sudden what you thought you were failing at or what you thought that you couldn't do. So
that's big. And I feel like probably, a common problem that most people have is usually associated with money.
Absolutely.
And the regret is usually associated with money. For you, having, started this company, being able to give people a lot of money and also probably yourself take advantage of, getting money for your own company, what would you say has been your biggest regret financially that you wish you could kind of go back in time and change that?
It's there's a lot of regrets. I think that anybody has, right, in any business, right. I wish I could have done this way. Wish I could have done it that way. I think that a lot of what I wish I could have done was invest more into my starting employees. I think that's very difficult. There's no handbook.
Yeah.
For a small business, unless you're coming out strong and you got an HR department, but there's really no handbook on how to be able to understand the different generations and how to deal with them individually.
Yeah. When you say what you wish you could have done, your employees differently, what do you mean by that exactly?
It's not every person has the same personality.
Okay.
And for me, it was like drive. Get, right? Nobody leaves until these applications are completed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, these are people that are saying, well, I like to start my family one day. I feel like I'm here every single day. Now, I'm talking about in a time when PPP loans or EIDL loans and these government granted loans, when COVID was going around, it's like, we're busy.
Yeah.
Not everybody's getting approved for those government loans. So it was hard to be able to be the same with everybody.
Yeah.
And I think I was just a little bit too quick and jumpy in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I lost some really good people. I think that would be the only regret as far as the company. As far as any type that I've invested in anything, there's been success. Even investing whatever dollar amount or budget into the business, it's been tremendous success.
Yeah.
But knowing the different types of people and how to deal with them, it's kind of difficult.
And that kind of leads me to a good segue, because it also makes me think, when you're saying knowing how to deal with different people and the different personalities, it's something that you do often and your company does often, because
Correct.
You come across so many different people who have so many different businesses, whether they're just like really advanced or really novice, and they started their business like the day before they are calling your company. Talk to me about how you kind of navigate that, and still maintain that level of excellence when you're dealing with like people from so many different spectrums of the business industry.
It was. I think it was very easy for me. I think you just give a certain territory or book of business to a specific person. How you hire. We want to hire those that are that attract people that are in the certain areas. Like I'm from New York, so I'm okay with New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Even sometimes down in Miami. I have some that are out of Utah, California, Tennessee, Texas.
Yeah.
So depending on who's who and what that book of business, we prepared ourselves to say, okay, we have people that speak your language.
Okay.
Right? For Spanish, you press 2.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna get somebody that's gonna speak Spanish. So it's kind of those things that we. I mean, a New Yorker is going to survive anywhere, I think, no offense to anybody. Anybody from Chicago, you can survive anywhere. But, there's some people that may be out of the Midwest. They're like, oh, it's too fast for me.
Yeah.
You speak too fast, right? So that's where I now rely on Utah. They have that, slow communications or slower communication, like not so fast, upbeat.
Yeah.
But, they pronounce everything beside, unlike me. And I mean, I'm like, all over the place. But I think that's one of the things that we prepared as a business to say, okay, we're national. We cater nationally. So we have to have the right people in place that can now have customer-centric success. Because at the end of the day, we can talk about, rates. We can talk about terms. You can talk about a payment. You're happy, but you're not happy with the person that helped you out.
Yeah.
So customer-centric success is very important for us because it allows us to get repeat and referral business.
How do you guys deal with people who are super excited about getting business funding, and they're, you guys can give them up to what, 500? What was the?
We can go 750. I mean, the other day, 750K.
So a lot of people are thinking about that 750. Everybody wants to go for the top. How do you kind of navigate the terrain when you know at first glance, maybe when you come across a profile where it's like, it's really going to be more like 25 or 50 for this person.
Yeah.
And what does that do to the psyche?
Yeah. It's we always appreciate the ambition, the drive, right? I got to be honest with you, but a lot of it has to do with education.
Okay.
I got to educate you on how you're going to use that money. I got to be able to sit here with you. Okay, I know you want 750, but again, where's your business plan? You're not telling me anything right now. You want to do this and you want to do that, but where's the business plan? If I give you 750 grand right now, and that business fails in 90 days, how are you going to get out of it?
Yeah.
Because now these banks are going to go after something.
Yeah.
And then if you got grandma's credit or auntie or whoever's credit in there, you're never going to, family cookouts again. Right? So, but part two is, although we can get you funding now, it's not the end all be all. Banks want to see that whatever we gave you in the beginning, you can be responsible enough so that now we can give you more money in the future.
Okay.
So a lot of times with somebody that says, okay, I wanted a $750,000 loan or 500 grand, we can say, okay, here's 50. I'm gonna reach out to you in 90 days. Here's another 100. I'm gonna reach out to you in 90 days. So it's a roadmap. It's almost like a slow release.
Okay.
And a lot of real estate developers use that method.
Okay.
Because if you're building a bowling alley, a movie theater, a big old megaplex, the bank is not going to say, okay, here's $30 million, go at it.
Yeah.
They're going to work tightly, closely with your contractors and everybody. Okay, with the first phase, it's going to be $3 million. Perfect. Here's $3 million. Because if they can see that you can drop $3 million in there, and you already have tenants and people, signing up to be a tenant there.
Yes.
Then we have something good going.
Okay.
Same thing goes with a client. It's not the end all be all. Let me get you this 50 now. Let's talk in 90 days. Let me get you another 100.
Okay.
Before you know it, in a year, you're already making money with the little that you've gotten, and now you're turning this, dollar out of 15 cents, right? And that's what the banks like to see.
Yeah.
It's what they call aggregated spending or aggregated investing.
Okay.
Because you're increasing more and more and more. And by the time you get to that year mark, you already gotten your 500 grand. Yeah. But you already made money during the year.
Okay. Okay. So people don't have to necessarily get discouraged.
No.
If they don't automatically get the amount and the number that they were thinking in their head based on their different, goals, or like you said, the ducks in a row that they may have. They can kind of come back and revisit as needed. That's
correct. It's like an open checking account. You tap into it when you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like to consider myself, right?
I like that. When you think about, being able to get that money and the excitement from it and having those different facets of having a return on your investment, so to speak. Can you talk to me a little bit about exactly what should be the first play when you get the money on how to kind of flip it and multiply it? What should be the first thing that you should do specifically?
It depends because a lot of different businesses operate differently. A trucker doesn't need to throw some ads. They don't need to drop 25 grand in
they don't.
In Facebook.
They don't?
No. It's like they can pick up loads any day they need.
Okay.
Right, so they can make money immediately. Somebody that's in real estate just needs to make sure that they get with the right GC. If you're doing fix and flips and flipping homes, or you want to be a landlord, you get with the right GC because that's the most important person that's going to save you money.
Okay.
Second thing is if you're not licensed to operate in your state to sell homes, you need a really good person that is a real estate person that can sell the home for you once it's done. Okay. Right? So those right there, they don't cost you any money to talk to them because they're just ready for business. Yeah. Right? But somebody that's an e-commerce store, the first thing you need to go is start your product. If you're drop shipping, okay, how much can I drop 25, 50 grand in budget? Right? Those are the ones that need to have that conversation with a marketing company and market their companies. Those that are a national company but need to reach out to the masses. Yeah. Then that's where social media works. Okay. I think a lot of times we skip that step. When we're trying to borrow money, the only thing that we're thinking about is the product that we sell and how to deliver it. But we're not thinking about that your business requires legal, accounting, primarily marketing money. And that's why a business plan breaks everything down for you because you have to invest in those things to be able to get success.
Yeah, and I've heard you mention accounting several times in this conversation. And there's a lot of people that I know that are entrepreneurs and that do business and are successful, seemingly successful, but they don't have an accountant. So talk to me a little bit about those three entities that you kind of just named and why they are important. And even maybe, why do you think people underrate having them in their business?
Yeah. I think people. Let's talk about marketing first, right? Because I think that's the easiest one But I think a lot of people don't like marketing because they're just tired of the marketing game, right? They feel like they're getting marketed.
Yeah.
And they haven't found the right person that understands their niche.
Yeah.
And that can really take them to another level. And the only thing that they're hearing is, okay, give me 25 grand. I'll spend 3 months with you and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
With no real true guarantees. I think, and that's a big fear. Just like we were talking about earlier. I don't want to borrow money from somebody else because I fear it. I fear the process, The second thing is when it comes down to is accounting. I can't tell you how many times I talk to my accountant in a month.
Wow. Because
I have employees, because I want to make sure that my books are clean, that are good. If I ever get audited, I have everything to the T. Not to mention, my background's in accounting, so I have a soft spot in my heart for that.
Yeah.
Right? The more that I am able to understand and reconcile and read my books, the more I know what my business is expending on.
Well, I think people are just like, that costs money. What you're talking
doesn't
about.
Have to.
It doesn't have to?
It doesn't have to cost that much money. You just have to have, if you want somebody that's going to be with you 24 hours and babysit your books every day, then yes. But there's a lot of accountants that are out there that are, hey, we'll talk once a month. If that's not a conversation for you, like I find joy in money.
Yeah.
In talking about money. A lot of people are like, hey, what's the bottom line? Am I making profit? How do you know that you are making profit, and how do you know that you're growing your business year after year if you cannot have the proper conversation, understand your books?
Yeah.
What am I paying out? What am I receiving? I didn't even know I pay that much money. Right? It's the wow factor that your accountant can say, well, yes, if you log into QuickBooks every day or to ADP or Reynolds, you will notice that there's a lot of exposure here and you're spending too much money in areas that you don't need. I just saved you $50,000. Now, all of a sudden, you're from a $950,000 company that you are, now you're $1 million company because you know how to save it.
Yeah.
Tax strategist is the second thing. I just broke down a little bit of little piece of something, but a tax strategist is going to break down, how do I save you money on taxes?
Yep.
How do I make sure that you look good? How do I make sure that now that you're making all this money that you can even buy a house? Because what do? We try to put a bunch of L's on our taxes, and then when it comes down to get a nice mortgage because you're making the money, your mortgage guy's saying, well, it looks like you only make 80 grand. You're trying to buy a $500,000 home.
Yeah.
Tax strategy. And then the third and most important thing here, I think, is legal. I think that it's very important. If you're in the credit repair business, if you're in the financial business, if you're anything that is governed differently than just a regular e-commerce store, you need to have somebody on your side to be able to write out your documents and make sure that everything is put in place so that you are found successful in time of need or legal needs, if you will.
That's good. I think that's important. Like all three, the 3 or 4 that you just said are key people to also help you scale.
That's right.
Long term.
That's
too.
right.
One of the things I do want to ask you, because I think a lot of people want to know, it's kind of like I feel people get stuck because they don't really know necessarily where to start and what banks to go to that are the most, susceptible to like taking in and giving out business funding. So is there one bank over the other that you would recommend, and why? Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you play on here 3 ways, right? So the most important thing that I always say, you need 3 banking institutions to work with you in your business. 1, national lender. 2, a regional lender. 3, a credit union. Why? When banks compete, you win. National lender is going to be the one that's going to be a little more on the side of, hey, we need this or we need that.
Okay.
Kind of picky. Cream of the crop. Do they offer business funding? Yes. But now, let's say you get a $50,000 bag and they do a soft pull on you and say, hey, I can get you 50 grand. Perfect. Okay. Put it on a credit card, Mr. Chase. Perfect. So here's your $50,000 credit card. Now with the regional lender, you're going to go and say, hey, you know what? Get me a operating account, checking operating account. And they're also going to do a soft pull on you and say, you know what? Hey, by the way, we can get you about $70,000. Okay. That's going to be a Regions. That's going to be a PNC. Then you go over to a credit union, digital, more national. Or if you have a credit union that grandma, grandpa, and all the family has been connected with, they're going to say, by the way, are we the only bank or institution that you work with? No, I work with these other two, which, by the way, they gave me funding.
Yeah.
What are the chances that we can get some funding with you? Well, how about we give you $100,000 and we'll give you a little $25,000 term loan, $25,000 line of credit, and $50,000 credit card. How does that sound? So you just went and opened 3 opportunities because it's called relationship. Banks operate off of relationship.
Okay.
Although the regional and the national lender only loans you as an account holder, an account number, your credit union now loans you as a real true member, and they operate at a much lower scale. So they don't have all the thrills and frills on an application. They just want to know that you can actually open up a card and you're in that same parish or jurisdiction where you worship or do business in. So how do you secure a higher bag? National, regional, credit union. And now all 3 can now give you money based on relationship.
Wow. How much of your life and kind of how you do life in business is regulated off of using business credit, off of using credit?
How of our business, how much is it regulated?
Yeah, not regulated, but like how often do you utilize your business credit to do business?
You asking me for a secret sauce right here.
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. We got a credit card. I'm not going to name the lender. We got a credit card that started at $100,000.
Okay.
At 0%, 16 months. When we do payroll, because we do have employees, when we do payroll, we do our payroll through the card. I get 4 times the points. So,
wow.
When I do the payroll, which I pay weekly every Friday, in a month I run payroll 4 times, some months 5.
Okay.
The points that I get back from doing payroll and meeting payroll, I have a tax liability every week with the IRS. Guess who pays that? The credit card. So the secret sauce here is, if you get yourself a really strong, powerful credit card through the bank, you can now run your payroll and at the same time now pay your taxes off of that money.
Wow.
So if you want to say, how can you do that, right?
Yeah,
if you want to save on that, hence the reason that we need to speak to sometimes the good attorneys and the accountants that can teach you this game.
Yes.
Because these are games that the super companies are doing.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the game
private
they're playing?
investors. This is the big investors that they do. They're traveling to Dubai, you know, with points. You know, they're doing all these things on points. So when people come to me and say, I need $100,000, and they say, oh, I don't want a credit card, are you sure about that?
Wow.
Because $100,000, the payment starts in 30 days. A revolving line of credit, it's you pull 20 grand, you only pay 1% minimum on 20 grand, not on 100.
Wow.
So a lot of times, everybody that wants to go to Dubai, that's the game. You know, pay all your company expenses on this credit card, pay it off at the end of the month and accumulate the points and the wealth and the love. Go wherever you want. In a short period of time, you just gain all that access to capital and points.
Wow.
So,
dang.
That's it.
Okay, that was incredible. Because like what you just said is huge, because I'm not even finna elaborate on it. Like, if you know, you know. Like, if you understand what he just said, y'all need to capitalize off of that gem for sure. So before we go, if people are, wanting to learn about maybe the best strategies or the best hacks to getting business funding, if there are any, is there a couple that you can just kind of spew off the top of your head that somebody can start today?
So make sure that when you're establishing your business, you don't do sole props. I can't tell you how many times banks don't like that. Well, banks do, excuse me. I don't like it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Sole props is an extension of you personally, of your social. You're used to signing under your social, so why would the bank say, well, let's put it in the business? It's not. The second thing is to also do is you want to make sure that you have a clear, concise idea of what you're going to do with that money. Stop playing out here, because if you get $100,000 and that payment starts in 30 days, you miss with one payment, you are going to have to get into about 2 to 3 years into your business with great payment history before you can do anything.
Wow.
And then the third thing, have a business plan. I think a business plan, a lot of times, is one of the biggest hindrance of obtaining the funding. Credit is one. Business credit is another. But if you have all those in place and the bank doesn't know what you're going to use the money for, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
A business plan is your resume. If you're trying to buy a gas station right now in the corner, they say that gas station is $1 million. They're going to ask you, what experience do you have running a gas station? Or what experience do you have acquiring any business?
Okay.
Your business plan is your resume. And when you break down your resume and scream loud to the lender, I know how to do this. I know how to catapult this business. Chances of you obtaining funding increases drastically by 90%.
And that's something that I actually was just going to ask you. So I'm happy that you kind of elaborated on it, because I feel like it's one of those things that's like easier said than done, or like it sounds nice, but how do you actually make it applicable to, like, you know, your daily life and how you actually run your business, or how you're going to run your business based off of the funding. But when you think about that, a business plan, when you're saying that, it's something that's outside of your head, right? We all have these ideas of like how we want to run our business, or, you know, conceptually how we think it's going to go. But like you mean tangible, like something in black and white that shows this is what my business looks like. This is how I plan on scaling it. You know, this is the impact that it's going to make in the community. Where would you say could be a good resource for somebody to learn how to actually do that?
I mean, geez, right now, even AI is doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, we've jumped into AI, invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in AI, right? So we don't have to do underwriting. If the banks are doing it, we're doing it.
Yeah.
But save yourself money. Download Chat. Just put a couple little things in there that what you want to do, and even GPT can do it for you.
Yeah, that's true.
AI is doing it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to now sit down. Now, if it's something that's it's a little bit of, it's a screw that goes into a robotic arm, and it's super scientific NASA stuff, you're gonna need somebody that understands that type of, you know, somebody that can write that out for you. Right. It's more intricate to write that type of business plan out. But if it's something that, okay, this is what I want to do, this is why it's so important that to having a business plan is because it's basically you looking at yourself in the mirror every single day. When you forget why you started this business, you can always go back to it and bring that to remembrance.
That's good.
When people start complaining on how you treat them, and your customer service is not that good, or your client or your employees are not taking care of your clients, you can always go back to what you originally started from.
Yeah.
And go back to the basics. I think a lot of businesses lose that. You know that a good restaurant starts really strong, lines to the back of the building, and then all of a sudden in 3 months it dies out. Why?
Yep.
Because they never went back to the first steps.
Yeah, it's a good source of accountability. Wow.
Look at yourself in the mirror every day. It'll tell you a lot of things.
I love that.
Yep.
Hiram, you've told me a lot of things today on this podcast. So.
I hope I did.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You better be my new best friend. You don't even know
listen, speed
You're
dial.
the guy.
Put it on speed dial.
You're the guy. I want to thank you so much.
Thank
For
you.
people who are like, oh my goodness, I love this episode, I want to tap in. I feel like I have all the ducks in a row, or
Yes.
maybe I want to learn what ducks I need to have in a row, and they want to tap into Ladder Financial Group. Can you tell them about how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the time, I attend all my DMs. So Instagram, LATTER, Ladder Financial GRP. So it's Ladder Financial GRP. And I mean, my phone goes off at 2 o'clock in the morning. A lot of times I respond. So you can DM me there if you have any questions or you need a little bit of advice. And of course, we can then connect you over to our finance team, and we can assist you with a no obligation, no hard inquiry, artificial intelligence, a pre-approval before you even start shopping for money.
Wow.
Let's go.
There it is.
Yes,
Y'all
ma'am.
tap in with him if you want to start using other people's money. I know I am. So yeah. Peace.
Take care.